Hello and welcome. You're watching this Friday edition of Race to Power with me, Ananya Datta. Let's start talking politics. The Sri Lankans have handed a win to AKD once again. 50 days apart, two crucial elections, and the voters have kept the old parties as well as their old guards at bay. We decode it from Colombia. In the United States cabinet, and controversies are going hand in hand. Donald Trump has announced more names and the Washington community has been left shell-shocked. We'll get you a report soon. Now, top story today is from Sri Lanka. It's an unprecedented two-third majority for Kumara Dissanayaka's NPP, giving the Sri Lankan president a free hand to implement his promised reforms to pull the country out of the economic mess. A huge win in the parliament, of course, but the real challenge is just beginning.
Kumara Dissanayake, the man of the moment, the man Sri Lanka has given its blessings to deliver on an array of fronts. A two-third parliamentary majority that he's come out with means unprecedented sweeping democratic powers for Dissanayake and his party. The district-wise map of Sri Lanka and the wave of red across it says it all. Dissanayake's National People's Power has bagged a solid 159 seats, meaning he sails past the two-third majority mark, a first by a single political party in Sri Lankan election history. The single biggest opposition party in parliament will be the SJB of Sajith Premadasa, but the SJB lags way behind with just 40 seats. The SLPP of the Rajapaksas is down to just 3 seats. To think this party had 145 seats post the 2020 election. The biggest implication of the election outcome, AKD has the mandate to even change the constitution. All the hurdles he'd cited earlier around lack of support in parliament fall by the wayside. What are the doors that immediately open up? He has the support to pass his financial budget to pull Sri Lanka out of the economic mess. He can fulfill his pro-poor campaign promises of reducing taxes and freeing up public revenue for tax relief. He has a free hand for negotiations with bondholders. For the electorate, the outcome of this election and the leader they choose to take the country through stormy times is a do or die in many ways. Screens put up outside counting centres through counting night have been closely watched. And big numbers for the NPP also come with big hopes and expectations.
Actually, this winning was expected by the Sri Lankan people that we have got today. So we think we will do the best by the government, with all people expected some change actually. So now people have got it. So we expected this government will do the best.
We expect President Kumara Dissanayake to do justice for the poor people.
It's a huge win, but still only the first one. There's a lot more on this list. Each point comes with big counterpoints, and AKD still has to play a fine balancing act to rescue Sri Lanka from economic bankruptcy while easing public pain. The bigger battle for Dissanayake remains uphill. He's just won one big round.
Our correspondent Dasunya Thauda is joining us on this broadcast from Colombo to get us the latest. Dasunya, I was going to say, it seems like we're still covering the September elections, but it seems like rain has brought a big mandate for AKD in the parliament.
Absolutely. I mean, rain has hindered a bit of our coverage to be done at ease, but nevertheless, it's still a sweeping win for President Dissanayake, especially given the fact that, over the past few months, we've been covering this election and we've been speaking to analysts, and a lot of them were quite confident that President Dissanayake will comfortably get a simple majority. But what transpired today was entirely different, because President Disanayake's party was quite comfortable in not only getting a simple majority, but moving past that limit to get an absolute majority, a two-thirds majority, which is indeed a historical moment in Sri Lanka's election process.
Absolutely, it does seem like that. Dasuni, thank you so much for all those updates from Colombo. Stay safe. As our correspondent just rightly pointed out, the two-third parliamentary majority for Anura Kumara Dissanayaka's NPP is a first for a single political party in Sri Lanka in its history. A distinct reason for this was erstwhile party stronghold in specific areas, breaking away from old voting patterns and jumping on the NPP's bandwagon. In the northern provinces of Vani and Jaffna, for the first time in the island nation's history, hardline Tamils turned away from bickering Tamil political parties to a Sinhala Buddhist party. Voter turnout was low. In Jaffna, the NPP won 3 seats alongside the ITAK, All Selun Tamil Congress, and an independent group. NPP also secured 2 seats in the Vani district. Capital of Colombo used to be the traditional bastion of Ranil Wickremesinghe, his UNP to be specific. More recently, it has been a stronghold of Sajid Premadasa's SJB. But the NPP made significant gains here. The southern province in the Sinhala heartland, home to former presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the party, the SLPP, was nearly wiped out. The NPP secured 18 seats from the region, and the SJB and the SLPP won just 2 each. Many former MP and hopefuls fell to what emerges as NPP's juggernaut. 11 former cabinet ministers lost the election, most of them to NPP leaders. The only member of the Rajapaksa clan to contest was former State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa, lost in Munaragala district. A relative of the Rajapaksa family, Nipuna Ranagwaka, who won the highest number of votes in the 2020 election in the Matara district, lost too. The Ham Sirisena, son of former President Maithripala Sirisena, lost from the central Polonnaruwa district. Sri Lanka's former cricket captain T.M. Dilshan lost his first attempt to enter the parliament. And to get us some perspectives, we are now being joined by Dr. Aruna Kulatunga, political analyst and former advisor to the Ministry of Primary Industries. He's joining us live from Colombo. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast, sir. It seems like AKD's party has managed to make inroads in regions that were actually strongholds of the old guards. Do you think this is a clear message by the voters?
Thank you for having me, first of all. So I must make a small correction. NPP is not a single Buddhist party. It represents almost all the communities and the wins that it has gained in the northeast, elsewhere where there was a strong Muslim vote, say the Muslim district, also a strong Tamil vote in the central parts of Sri Lanka. They've gained all of those districts. They've only lost 1 district. So that represents their multicultural and multi-religious makeup as a party. Actually, they are not a, I would say, overtly religious by any means, but definitely a multicultural party. So that is, in my view, a very positive outcome of this election. And to answer your question, yes, it's very much a positive sign and something that bodes well for the future of the country.
Speaking of the future of the country, we had a political analyst from Colombo just yesterday, that was while the voting was going on, and she said something very interesting, and I'm quoting, "It's not just a strong government Sri Lanka needs, one also needs a strong opposition." So as numbers stand right now, how optimistic are you about the old guards in the opposition?
Forget about the old guards, forget about the opposition. Given that for the first time since 1977, a single party, remember from 1977, most of the governments that we've had have been coalition governments. There were a lot of horse trading that was happening in those governments, and therefore their election pledges were weakened going forward. But for the first time since 1977, we have a single party with a president also representing the same party in power. And they've got a massive majority. So they will steamroll whatever they want to do through the parliament. And we are only hoping that they will keep to the democratic norms in doing that, and they will keep to the election pledges where they said, look, we are going to change the constitution. It's going to be this. It's going to be anti-corruption. It's going to be democratic. So we are all hoping that those pledges will be kept. Forget about the opposition. There's no opposition there now.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast and getting us all those insights, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Let's shift focus now. Did you know an incoming US president can make 4,000 political appointments upon taking office? Donald Trump has gotten a head start, and this by announcing most of the crucial posts. And Trump seems to be keeping his promises made earlier. This year, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was running for the presidency, but about 70 days before Election Day, he quit and endorsed Trump. And now he has been rewarded for it. Coming from a staunch Democrats family, Kennedy Jr. has been nominated as the health secretary in the next Republican administration. Trump is trusting him with the United States' top health agency. Here's what the president-elect had said during his victory speech about RFK Jr.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he came in. And he's going to help make America healthy again. And now he's a great guy, and he really means it. He wants to do some things, and we're going to let him go to it. I just said, but Bobby, leave the oil to me.
Trump has promised that Kennedy Jr. will make America healthy again, and the appointment comes on a crucial day too. A Lancet report has claimed that 3/4 of US adults are obese. It also paints a grim picture for the future. Without immediate action, 260 million people will be overweight by 2050. That's 70% of America's projected population. It's also 1 in 5 children, at least 1 in 3 adolescents and 2 in 3 adults. Obesity is an issue that Kennedy Jr. has talked about in length during the campaign as well as before that. He has called it chronic disease epidemic of conditions. And like obesity, diabetes, autism and reducing chemicals in foods is something he has touched upon. Kennedy also suggested that he would gut the 18,000 employee Food and Drug Administration and replace hundreds of employees at the National Institutes of Health. On the downside, as seen by many experts, Kennedy has been a vaccine denier. He has been accused of making false medical claims like vaccines are linked to autism. He opposed state and federal restrictions imposed during the COVID-19 pandemic and was accused of spreading misinformation about the virus in the middle of a health emergency. And with those additions, this is how the full picture is looking. With special focus on foreign policy, Marco Rubio has been picked for Secretary of State. Mike Waltz will be fronting national security. Kristi Noem will be heading Homeland Security, and she will be closely working Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. For the first time, a woman will occupy the post of Chief of Staff. Trump has named Susie Wiles, a Democrat who changed sides in the middle of election. That's Tulsi Gabbard, has been chosen to become the Director of National Intelligence. Pete Hegseth has been nominated to be the next Defense Secretary. And as we said earlier, RFK Jr. is excited to become the Health Secretary. Trump's appointee to lead the Department of Justice is going to be critical, with Matt Gaetz leading it. And closely aiding him is his deputy, that's Todd Blanche, who was leading Trump's defense team during the hush money case, remember. Mike Huckabee, a man known to be one of the staunchest supporters of Israel and does not believe in the term Palestinian, has been tipped to be the ambassador to Israel. And the most interesting pick, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will create a non-federal department to ensure government efficiency. Now, VA correspondent Jessica Stone has a report on this from the venue of Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th.
This is a secondary Trump priority to ending those wars, is revamping the Pentagon and really changing the nature of the priorities there and helping with recruitment. Critics say that while he served those tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, though, that he has no management experience. I mean, this is an enormous bureaucracy, more than 1 million employees that he's going to have to manage if he's confirmed. So That's Pete Hegseth. Now, you mentioned Senator Marco Rubio to lead state. He is a much more traditional pick. Of course, he has been on all of the foreign policy committees in the Senate. He has taken strong positions on Venezuela and Cuba. He's a Cuban American with a very strong stance against China, anti-communist stance. He is a much more traditional pick, but remember, he also was a Trump.
In the aftermath of Donald Trump's stunning electoral victory, the Democrat Party now faces a new crisis. Mismanagement and overspending has left vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris's campaign mired in a staggering debt of $20 million. Soon after Biden pulled out of the presidential contest following a disastrous debate against his Republican rival Trump, the Democratic Party rallied around Harris and her candidacy. Quickly, big and small donors loosened their purse strings. Money started to flow into the Democratic Party's coffers. The numbers are staggering. The Harris's war chest of over $1 billion dwarfed Trump's $382 million haul. Yet somehow this flow of funds has become a financial disaster, with unpaid staffers and vendors left scrambling. The lion's share of this spending went into advertisements. One of them was this one in Nevada. Harris vaults are projected onto the Las Vegas sphere in an advertisement that cost a jaw-dropping $654 million. This sum alone that raises serious questions about the campaign's financial priorities. But the real head-scratcher lies in the $20 million spent on concerts and celebrity appearances in the final stretch of the election. As the campaign pulled out all the stops to energize voters, it seems to have lost sight of the fiscal responsibility. High-profile performances by the likes of John Bon Jovi, Christina Aguilera, Lady Gaga, they have generated headlines, of course, but they all have come at a staggering cost. Experts and donors are now left wondering if this was the wisest investment, and the Democratic Party, still licking its wounds from the presidential defeat, of course, now faces the task of untangling this financial mess.
Where the foundation of our democracy was formed.
Let's shift focus to India now. In a political sphere as diverse as India, it seems that there's no one size that fits all. The ruling coalition in the state of Maharashtra is discovering it in a slogan that is upsetting quite a few parties. The ruling party at the centre, that's the BJP, is a dominant partner in the state government. In recent days, its star campaigner, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, coined a slogan, "Batenge to katenge." In English, it loosely translates to, "If we stand divided, we will be decimated."
राष्ट्र से बढ़कर के कुछ नहीं हो सकता, कुछ नहीं हो सकता, और राष्ट्र तब सशक्त होगा जब हम एक रहेंगे, नेक रहेंगे, तभी नेक रहेंगे, बटेंगे तो कटेंगे.
The slogan is a thinly veiled call to the dominant Hindu community to stay united against the purported Muslim electoral threat. However, the slogan has snowballed into a major controversy within the ruling coalition, the Mahayuti. Even a section of the BJP is uncomfortable over using it in a state like Maharashtra. At least 3 BJP leaders have called it inappropriate and divisive. Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar says that such ideas are not welcome in the state.
एक स्टेट के चीफ मिनिस्टर आते हैं और वो बोल देते हैं बटेंगे कटेंगे, तुरंत हमने बताया कि ये उत्तर प्रदेश नहीं है, नॉर्थ में ये चलता होगा. हमारे महाराष्ट्र में शिवशाहू फुले अम्बेडकर की विचारधाराओं से महाराष्ट्र चलता है.
Now, Pawar is the president of the coalition constituent NCP now, a party that is supported not only by a sizable Muslim vote bank but also fields several Muslim candidates itself, which makes Pawar's skepticism understandable. But in the heat and clamour of the political campaigning, similar slogans are also proving problematic. Recently, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself coined another slogan, "Ek hai to safe hai," meaning united we are safe. Yet again, it was a message that was read as being divisive, as a call for the Hindus to stay united. Now, an exodus from Elon Musk's social media giant X is now being cited as a necessity to keep out hate speech from the snap polls in Germany. German soccer club FC St. Pauli is the latest to announce its exit, saying X is undermining the election process. It's a story of a German sports club making X the tool of left versus right politics. The German football club says that Elon Musk has turned the platform into a hate machine since he took over the company in 2022. The club, which plays the Bundesliga, is known among soccer fans for its left-leaning support base. Fans often chant anti-racist slogans and promote diversity within the club. A tweet from the club said it is moving to Blue Sky, a rising alternative to X, amid a surge in users exiting the platform. St. Pauli spoke about Musk's role in the US presidential election and alleged that his platform could affect the outcome of the snap elections in Germany. It said that there's a very real threat of X manipulating the public discourse. St. Pauli has also said that it aims to migrate its nearly 250,000 followers ahead of February's snap election in Germany. St. Pauli also said it would no longer share content on X, but it will not deactivate the account. The club urged supporters to follow its updates on Blue Sky. X recorded peaks in traffic around the election, but overall data shows a clear trend of declining user engagement as sentiment gains ground that it is an out-and-out right-wing platform being headed by Elon Musk himself. Let's now get you the latest stories from the world of politics and elections. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has announced that he will ask for a vote of confidence in December, setting the path for an early election in February. Scholz's announcement comes after his three-party coalition government collapsed last week. If Scholz loses the vote, German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier has 21 days to dissolve the parliament, and he has already indicated that he will do so. The dissolving of the parliament is a formality in the process that eventually leads to new elections. Senegal is all set to vote in legislative elections on Sunday. Now, these polls will determine whether the new president and government can gain control over the National Assembly and push through their agenda for reforms. Campaigning has grown heated in recent days and comes at a time when the new government is navigating a spiraling fiscal crisis that could undermine its promise to boost the economy and create jobs. Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, known for his fiery rhetoric, said that this week his supporters had come under attack and urged them to take revenge. Mali's ruling junta arrested one of the country's top politicians on Wednesday for criticizing the military rulers of neighboring Burkina Faso. Issa Kouao, who previously supported Mali's current military leader, before distancing himself, was arrested on charges of insulting a foreign head of state. In an interview, he had claimed that the military rulers of Burkina Faso, a close ally of Mali, remember, made up evidence of a foiled coup in September. And with that, we are wrapping up this edition of Race to Power. Thanks for watching with me, Ananya Datta. I will see you next week.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at wion.com.
It's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this.
I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now.
WION brings you a special business talk show where we bring forth the stories of business leaders.
From breakthrough technologies to visionary leadership, we will unlock the trends, the tactics, and dive into the minds of the industry's most influential leaders.
WION brings you this special series to uncover what drives them in a candid talk show, WION Business Masters.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
WION brings you a special business talk show where we bring forth the stories of business leaders.
From breakthrough technologies to visionary leadership, we will unlock the trends, the tactics, and dive into the minds of the industry's most influential leaders.
WION brings brings you this special series to uncover what drives them in a candid talk show. WION Business Masters.
Vielleicht nur